bosses, when it comes to the mistakes that many people commit, I'll first of all link that to number one. First of all, I will throw the blame on the homeowner, and then I will also blame someone here. I will blame two more, but to start with, I will blame the homeowner. The first mistake that people usually commit when it comes to solar power is committed by homeowners in the sense that they want cheap materials. Cheap is expensive in the long run. So when it comes to the material that you require for solar and you go cheaper, always be ready to carry the cross when it comes to you going through a lot in terms of compensating for what you avoided in the first. Top bosses, a homeowner, decide to do this instead of going for genuine batteries. They'll be convinced to go for second hand without necessarily going for the specific brand, right? So brand matters when it comes to solar power. There are several brands that will always fail customers no matter what. And one thing that you need to check that I also learned from a friend of mine is what is the warranty term, or what are the warranty terms when it comes to these items, be it the battery, be it solar panels. So do you have a genuine battery? Top boss, is the battery genuine? You as a homeowner, do you know how to identify a battery which is genuine? That is why we are always advising that you need to engage the electrician, the PV technician, who understands which is the right battery for you. Now, did you know that there are also other companies which will sell you PV, or let me just go with, let me use a layman's language, which is solar panels. Did you know that there are some people who will sell solar panels which have a sticker upon a sticker? If this sticker is written 450 watts, probably the correct sticker is actually rated 300 watts. This will be very, very problematic in case the solar panel is actually rated 12 volts and on the sticker it is indicated 24 volts. Okay, I'm just giving an example. Assuming that an open circuit voltage VOC for these 300 watts is actually around 36 volts, and for 440 is actually 48 volts in terms of VOC. It means that the person that is purchasing this will connect it to a system that requires 48 volts. Now there will be a problem. Why? Because you will find that this system will always have issues. It will always clash with other panels and therefore raising temperatures. This temperature will definitely affect on something that is very important when it comes to solar panels, which is definitely the efficiency. So you find that your solar panels are no longer charging. If your solar panels are not charging the battery, if they are not producing the reliable, the efficient power that is required to power your appliances, just know that you have been cooked. You have wasted your money. Top bosses, before we move on, do you think the other issue that people normally have when it comes to the sizing of the solar is definitely committed by an electrician? So at number two, do you think we should shift the blame to the electrician, top boss? Yes, so top bosses, we are discussing another person that is actually problematic when it comes to this system. And that person is definitely the electrician. In fact, let me not say the electrician because I'll be throwing stones at the wrong person. I will just write here, PV technician, a PV technician. So a PV technician will definitely give the wrong size of this system if the technician is not able to first of all ask the most important question. First, what is the size of the load? Size of the load. What is the size of the load in that home? These are very fundamental questions when it comes to solar sizing. Without you knowing, without you understanding the exact size of the load, there is definitely going to be an issue. The size of the load, and we said you need to start with the most important area of that home, which is in this case a 3-bedroom home. we need to start with the kitchen. The kitchen has appliances that draw a lot of power from the system. If you go wrong in the kitchen in terms of calculation of the load, how will you go right when it comes to calculation of the load size, especially in the bedroom? Okay, this pen is really acting up bad. So if you know in the kitchen, so you know that in the kitchen there are heaters, and you don't want to really focus on this area, it means that that system which you install or recommend for the customer is likely to fail on them. So we need to understand that this area in the kitchen, what is the total power consumption? For us, what we normally do, we usually go with a clamp meter. Ask the customer to switch on each and every appliance in the home, especially in the kitchen. At that time, we'll have a clamp meter. How does a clamp meter look like? Let me show you how a clamp meter looks like, so that you top bosses can actually know that this is what we are talking about. Whenever we visit our customer, we ask them to activate everything in the kitchen. And if they are connected to the grid, we will simply use this. And then we'll go and clip right there, So assuming that this one is the cable that is carrying power, we'll clip it there. And then we will activate our meter here. So we get to the readings and then ensure that it is at AC. You see, at this point, it is at 0. So we will record the consumption. You find that if it shoots to around 5, so if it indicates 5 here, we need to convert that into watts. So if it is 5, it is definitely 5 amps. The voltage that comes to our domestic homes is usually 330 volts, or we can even measure. Also, it has probes. We can record the incoming voltage. So we'll measure that. So for us to get power, we definitely calculate IV. Power is equals to IV, isn't it, Maggie?
Yes.
So that means that the power here will be 5 times 230. What is that? Top boss Maggie, isn't it?
Yeah.
So 1150. So you find that 5 amps, 1150, we can say for that time that we have visited our customer, we say that per hour, this is the power consumption, which is basically 1.15 kilowatt. So this is just an example. So we will ask ourselves at peak, what does this customer consume? So we'll have to activate everything. So we will assume that this customer at peak may use close to 1.5. Sema nisiende beyond hapo. So if it is a 1.5 kilowatt, we will recommend a 2.2 kilowatt system. All right. And then if, let's say, the customer looks forward to have more appliances or have more home needs, we will definitely recommend that they go for an inverter which is bigger, which can actually be scaled. So they will probably go for a 3.3 kilowatt inverter. In future, you find that this customer wants to upgrade even further. This system will not be discarded. This system can be reused in another project. It can be purely dedicated to something else, such as the security lights. They have a project probably in the farm, such as water pumping, chaff cutting. They can dedicate it if they want to upgrade. So instead of just doing away with this system in its totality, they will dedicate it to something else and then have another system that is purely dedicated for that home. Now, that aside, we go to another person that I can blame, and I intentionally put this person as the last one, which is the manufacturer of these items. I still have another list of people to blame, but let me stick with the 3 because those are the ones that I can handle and I understand. So the manufacturer. Why am I blaming the manufacturer? So the manufacturer is to blame if at all they write that this battery is actually a 5 kVA and yet it is a 4.8 kVA. These cases are not common. These cases are not common. Another thing is that you find that there will be manufacturer defects if the battery explodes, assuming that the installation has been properly done, assuming that there is enough ventilation, especially for inverters, assuming that the connections have been correctly done, all right, and then the battery explodes, it means that there is a manufacturing issue. Another important thing that we need to also take note is that in case upon tightening the screws, now this is where majority of the solar power has issues. Upon tightening the screws, they get to a point where they start sliding. You know, you try to tighten and then it starts to slide, and the electrician is confused. You know, what do I do now? It is actually sliding. So that is a heavy mistake, a huge mistake, especially from the manufacturer side. I will not dwell on this much, but moving on, for a technician, you're supposed to always ensure that you carry out maintenance for your customer in case that system has an issue. You are supposed to identify it very fast and correct it. For homeowners, we have said that you have to stick with brands that are quality. So focus on this number here, our director. We need to also read again this number for our top bosses. What is the number right there? If people want to reach us out, you know, so many people want us to offer them services anywhere in the country. We are readily available to assist you. So what is our number?
Or +254
Mm-hmm.
711
Mm-hmm.
34 34 12.
Incredible, incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So for us, we ensure that we do quality work, and especially at the point of sizing. So sizing the system basically will help us to come up with a system that will serve you as the customer very, very well. Remember, when it comes to a system that requires 5 kW, or this is basically 5 kilowatt, or your system is basically 5,000 watts, we will ensure that we work with you step by step, so that for this particular system here, we will recommend the correct size of solar panels. We'll also recommend the right size of battery, and upon buying or the accessories that you require, once that system is set, you will not have an issue. Did you know that solar panels are supposed to last between 25 to 30 years? Right? That is almost the lifespan of majority of some people, you know. And when it comes to the battery, it is between 10 to 15 years or even more if the battery is well maintained. When it comes to the inverter can even go up to 18 to 20 years if it is not overloaded, well maintained, and most importantly, it is actually in a place where there is sufficient ventilation. Because for the inverters, we also have fans, we have a motherboard or systems inside that can overheat. In many cases, you find that people will ruin their solar power system if the inverter is damaged. Do not have an inverter where there is exposure to extreme moisture. Wow, exposure to moisture. So it means that if there is any leakages, rain leaks to that inverter, it means that you are risking losing that inverter. Any water droplets to the motherboard will damage it completely, all right, requiring you to replace the entire motherboard. And this is another mistake that people don't are not aware about. When that motherboard is ruined, in many cases, you'll find that you will not get that spare, especially if that inverter or that company phased out that product, or it is out of, the company is no longer manufacturing or producing that specific inverter, meaning that they're also not producing the parts. So it means that you'll have to replace the entire inverter. The issue is, if that battery is not compatible with the inverter, you'll be forced to replace both the battery and the inverter. So you must be very, very careful when it comes to the products that you buy. All right, top bosses, if you're finding value, hit that like button. Let me also know in the comment section, have you ever installed solar power? Whether you are an electrician, whether you are a DIYer, Have you ever installed any type of solar in your home, in your business, in your probably have some off-grid homes somewhere? Have you ever installed that? Another important thing, if you are a homeowner, what system do you have right now? Are you also thinking about going solar? Did you know that at Topites Electricals and Solar, we help clients such as you who are looking forward to go solar or are looking for a solar power system for their homes? And we work with you step by step to ensure that you achieve or you accomplish your goal. Just let us know where you want us to help you, and we'll definitely do that. Our WhatsApp number is +2547 11 34 34 12, and we'll definitely help you through the contents that we'll be talking about from the start. We were talking about the installation for solar power for a 3-bedroom house. We have said that you can go for a 6 kilowatt or you can stretch yourself to a 10 kilowatt system with one battery for a grid connected system, or a hybrid inverter with two batteries, which are 5 kVA. And for this system, it means that 10 kilowatt inverter and two batteries, each 5 kVA. This is enough for an off-grid setting. This will comfortably power your home appliances, including even the pump that you have. Another important thing is that the solar panels, the number of solar panels, we have said between 10 to 15 pieces, each 650 watts. This system is scalable. What do we mean by scalable? You can add solar panels when the demand shoots up. Very, very important. All right. And also on the part 2 of our live stream today, we have discussed about the common mistakes that people commit when it comes to solar power. Sell products that are actually substandard or have been used elsewhere and they are being sold here as new, and they fail on these customers. Ensure that you partner with a genuine brand that you trust, a genuine company in the solar space that you trust. I will not insist that you do much research because it is common sense that you are supposed to do that. But if you find a company that you trust, you can always work with them when it comes to that. Also, another important thing we have mentioned, the PV technicians or the electricians, basically. Not everyone is supposed to do this kind of work. And if you are a technician, a PV technician or a photovoltaic technician, or in short, you are a solar technician, ensure that you also take good care of your customer. We have gotten a lot of referrals from the customers that we have served, and we continue to appreciate the more jobs that we get from the customers that we have continued to serve because of the good work that we have done. Let your work speak for itself. Let your customers refer you because of the good work that you have done. At number 3, we have placed the blames on the manufacturer because they will produce substandard products, and this will fail on the customers, and in many cases you'll find that it will either burn the customer or burn their finances, which is completely unfair. In the next video, my top bosses will be going deeper, talking about the solar power that is required for a 4 and 5 bedroom master and suite. We'll also be giving you more information when it comes to the nature of the loads that are connected to these systems. For systems that require heated swimming pools, more heat outside there, more space that is created, automation, automated gates, other security systems that are sophisticated. What is the size of the solar power that is required for this system? How can we separate this power so that if one section of this home fails, the other parts continue to function very well without any issue, and ensuring that the home is not in total darkness if at all one part of this system fails. Top bosses, thank you so much for watching our today's stream. On behalf of the incredible team that is behind the scene, I really do appreciate you. If you have not subscribed to our channel, subscribe so that you be part of the 100,000 subscribers that are soon coming up. For those who have subscribed, I thank you so much for that. And my top bosses, until the next time that we have another stream, goodbye for now.